Hopefully you'll never need us, but if you do, we'll be there.
Cold November evening, a week before Thanksgiving, I went to bed thinking about all the things that I had to do. And a couple hours later, my husband woke me up, handed me my phone, and told me to call 911 because our house was on fire. I jumped out of bed in my pajamas and I tried to run to the kitchen to see where the fire was, but it was too hot. And I thought I had to get my children out of that house. Fire trucks started to arrive. And behind those fire trucks was a white car with a big red cross. And 2 volunteers got out of their car that night and came over and gave us comfort and hope and told us it was going to be okay because they were going to be there to help us.
Fire is the #1 disaster Red Cross responds to locally and nationally. Trained volunteers help families find a place to stay and often provide financial assistance for clothing or other urgent needs.
I remember thinking my husband and I both had jobs. We had resources here in town to help us out. Did we really need the Red Cross? But the Red Cross helps individuals affected by disasters, helps families, large communities. The Red Cross is always there to help those that have a need.
On April 10th, fire broke out at Bear Creek Apartments in North Naples.
The Bear Creek fire was a 3-story building, and that was something that was very intense for everyone because it's not one family, it's families with their children. So while we were there, we had to not only save the structure as much as possible, save the people that were in them, but we had to make sure what was going to happen. That's something that Red Cross comes in and they do for us.
Home fire response is a core piece of our mission that involves helping the firefighters.
We go to every disaster, no matter what's going on, and we have our saviors, which is Red Cross. We're lucky enough that they're there for us. So during a house fire, a family loses everything. And Red Cross comes in and finds them a place to stay for that night, gives them some money so they can go to a store, and it lets them try to be as normal as possible.
The American Red Cross stands ready to assist whenever there's a disaster, but 6 major disasters in 45 days was unprecedented. From Hurricane Harvey to Irma, to Maria, to Nate, the Las Vegas shooting, and the California wildfires, the Red Cross was there.
On Wednesday, September 6th, Irma was a Category 5 north of Puerto Rico with 185-mile-per-hour winds.
We knew when those winds started picking up that the American Red Cross was ready, that we had resources and people in place to help those that were in need, and we couldn't have done that without the generosity of our volunteers.
Sunday morning, Irma tore through the lower Keys at 130 miles per hour. Residents of Marco Island in Naples were warned of a possible storm surge of from 10 to 15 feet. Shelters were filling past capacity.
There was over 1,000 people that showed up on the doorsteps of the Mockley High School that needed shelter before the storm. It was incredible. Now these are the people that we're serving, and they want to serve us. So we've seen just amazing, it's just a grateful community. It's a great way to give back.
Shortly following Hurricane Irma, hundreds of emergency response vehicles were deployed from all over the country. 35 of those vehicles came here to Southwest Florida. People know when they see that big white van pull up with a Red Cross on it, that's our service delivery tool to be able to provide resources to those that have a great need in our community.
At the heart of our response to these historic disasters were our volunteers, hundreds of them, who drove our emergency response vehicles from disaster to disaster, bringing food, supplies, and hope.
I came here the weekend after the storm, and there was absolutely nothing, and everyone was walking around aimlessly, and there was no food, no water, no anything. And all of a sudden this white and red truck came up, and they had water, and they had words of encouragement. They kind of give everybody hope in the darkness, and they're so positive, and they let you talk, and they let you vent, and they're just encouraging and uplifting, and they're just beautiful people.
The American Red Cross isn't a government agency. It's a humanitarian organization led by volunteers, powered by the generosity of donors like you.